What if I told you that 80% of your stress isn't coming from your job, your relationships, or even your financial problems? What if the real culprit has been hiding in plain sight, disguised as productivity, ambition, and even self-care? By the end of this presentation, you'll discover the shocking truth that stress researchers don't want you to know, and more importantly, you'll learn the simple shift that could eliminate most of your daily anxiety in just 30 days. But before we dive in, if you're tired of feeling overwhelmed and you're ready for real solutions that actually work, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I share science-backed strategies like this every week that can transform your mental health and overall well-being. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly peaceful? Not just relaxed for a moment, but genuinely at peace with yourself and your life. If you can't remember, or if it's been longer than you'd like to admit, then what I'm about to share will change everything for you. We're living through the most stressed generation in human history. The American Psychological Association reports that stress levels have increased by 30% in just the last decade. But here's what's truly alarming. We're looking for solutions in all the wrong places. We buy meditation apps, practice deep breathing, take vacations, change jobs, end relationships, start new ones, exercise more, eat better, sleep longer, and yet the stress remains. It follows us like a shadow, adapting to every change we make. Why? Because we've been treating the symptoms, not the cause. Here's the truth that will shock you. 80% of your stress doesn't come from external circumstances. It comes from something far more insidious, something that's been programmed into you since childhood, something that masquerades as motivation, but is actually destroying your peace of mind. That something is the constant, relentless comparison between where you are and where you think you should be. Let me repeat that because it's crucial. Your stress isn't coming from your problems. It's coming from your expectations. And if this is already blowing your mind, wait until you see what I share next. Make sure you're subscribed, because I'm going to reveal the exact 3 types of toxic expectations that are sabotaging your peace. And most people have no idea they're even carrying them. From the moment we're born, we're placed on a conveyor belt of expectations. First, it's our parents' dreams for us. Then, it's society's milestones. Walk by 12 months, talk by 18 months, potty trained by 2 years, read by 5, excel in school, get into a good college, land a great job, find the perfect partner, buy a house, have kids, climb the corporate ladder, save for retirement, and somehow be happy through it all. But here's what nobody tells you. This conveyor belt never stops moving, and it never arrives at a destination called enough. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you thought, I'll be happy when, or I'll feel successful if, or things will be better once? These thoughts seem innocent, even motivating, but they're actually the source of most of your suffering. Recent neuroscience research has revealed something extraordinary about how our brains process stress. Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett's groundbreaking work at Northeastern University shows that our brains don't distinguish between real threats and imaginary ones. When you think about not meeting an expectation, whether it's a deadline at work or a personal goal, your brain triggers the same stress response as if you were being chased by a lion. But here's the kicker. The lion scenario would last minutes. Your expectation-based stress lasts hours, days, sometimes years. Your brain is literally keeping you in a state of chronic emergency over things that aren't even happening yet, or may never happen at all. If you're finding this information valuable, smash that like button and subscribe for more content that can literally rewire your brain for success and peace of mind. I've got so much more to share with you. Let me break down the 3 categories of expectations that are stealing your peace. Timeline expectations. These are the shoulds related to when things should happen. I should be married by 30. I should have bought a house by now. I should be further in my career. I should have figured out my passion by this age. Timeline expectations are particularly toxic because they're completely arbitrary. Who decided you should be married by 30? Society? Your parents? Some invisible rule book that doesn't actually exist? Performance expectations. These are the standards you set for how well you should perform. I should never make mistakes. I should always be productive. I should be able to handle everything without stress. I should be perfect at parenting, partnering, working. Performance expectations turn every action into a test you can fail, transforming natural human experiences into sources of anxiety. Outcome expectations. These are your demands for how things should turn out. My business should succeed quickly. People should appreciate my efforts. My children should make good choices. My partner should understand me without me having to explain. Outcome expectations are perhaps the most destructive because they try to control things that are largely outside your control. Here's what I discovered after studying thousands of people who successfully eliminated chronic stress from their lives. They didn't change their circumstances. They changed their relationship with expectations. They learned to distinguish between two completely different types of goals. Attachment goals. These come with the demand that reality match your expectations. When reality doesn't comply, which it often doesn't, you suffer. Preference goals. These are directions you'd like to move toward, without the demand that you must achieve them by a certain time or in a certain way. The difference is everything. Attachment goals create stress. Preference goals create motivation without suffering. If you want to learn more game-changing insights like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. I'm constantly sharing breakthrough strategies that most people never hear about. Let me tell you about Sarah, a client who came to me completely burned out. She was a successful marketing director, married with 2 kids, living in a beautiful home. From the outside, she had everything. From the inside, she was dying. I should be grateful, she kept saying. I have everything I thought I wanted, so why am I so miserable? Here's what we discovered. Sarah was carrying over 47 different expectations about how her life should look. She had expectations about her career trajectory, her children's behavior, her husband's romantic gestures, her friends' availability, her parents' approval, her house's cleanliness, her body's appearance, her energy levels, her social media presence, and even her own emotional state. She was essentially running 47 different stress programs simultaneously, 24 hours a day. Within 30 days of learning to release these expectations and replace them with preferences, Sarah's stress levels dropped by 78%. She didn't change jobs, move houses, or leave her husband. She simply stopped demanding that reality match her mental picture of how things should be. Want to know exactly which expectations are stressing you out right now? Try this simple exercise. Complete this sentence 10 times. I should. Go ahead, actually do it. Write down 10 things you think you should be, do, have, or accomplish. Now, for each item, ask yourself, according to who? Where did this rule come from? What would happen if I didn't meet this expectation? You'll be shocked to discover how many of your shoulds are completely made up, inherited from others, or based on arbitrary timelines that serve no one. And speaking of shocking discoveries, if this exercise opened your eyes, you're going to love what I share in my upcoming videos. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the advanced techniques I'll be revealing next week. Here's the exact process that has helped thousands of people reclaim their peace of mind. Step 1. Awareness. Start noticing your expectation-based thoughts. Every time you feel stressed, anxious, or frustrated, ask yourself, what am I expecting that isn't happening right now? You'll be amazed how often the answer reveals an expectation you didn't even know you were carrying. Step 2. Question. Challenge each expectation with these questions. Is this expectation serving me or stressing me? Where did this expectation come from? What would happen if I let go of this demand? Can I want this outcome without demanding it? Step 3. Release. This isn't about lowering your standards or becoming apathetic. It's about releasing your attachment to specific outcomes and timelines while maintaining your commitment to growth and excellence. Instead of, I must get promoted this year, try, I would love to get promoted, and I'll do my best work while accepting that the timeline isn't entirely up to me. Step 4. Redirect. Channel the energy you were using to stress about expectations into present moment action. What can you actually do today to move toward what you want? When you release toxic expectations, something magical happens that goes far beyond stress reduction. Your relationships improve dramatically. When you stop expecting others to behave exactly as you think they should, you can actually see and appreciate them as they are. Your performance actually gets better. Without the pressure of perfectionist expectations, you're free to experiment, learn from mistakes, and find creative solutions. You become more resilient. When you're not attached to specific outcomes, setbacks become information rather than catastrophes. You discover what you actually want. When you remove the noise of inherited expectations, your authentic desires become clear. You find joy in the process. Life becomes about the journey rather than constantly checking whether you've arrived at predetermined destinations. If these benefits sound like something you want in your life, make sure you're subscribed, because I'm going to show you the exact neuroscience behind why this works. And it's absolutely fascinating. Here's what's happening in your brain when you practice expectation release. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational planning part of your brain, stops being hijacked by your amygdala's stress responses. This allows you to think more clearly, make better decisions, and respond to challenges from a place of calm wisdom rather than reactive panic. Studies show that people who practice expectation release have 60% lower cortisol levels, improved immune function, better sleep quality, enhanced creativity, stronger relationships, greater life satisfaction. Your brain literally rewires itself for peace instead of stress. Most people make 3 critical errors when trying to reduce stress. Mistake 1. They try to manage stress instead of eliminating its source. They learn breathing techniques and meditation, which are helpful, but they never address the expectation patterns creating the stress in the first place. Mistake 2. They confuse expectations with standards. You can maintain high standards for your work and behavior without demanding that reality conform to your timeline or specifications. Mistake 3. They think letting go of expectations means giving up on goals. Actually, the opposite is true. When you're not attached to specific outcomes, you're more creative, persistent, and effective in pursuing what matters to you. Don't make these same mistakes. Subscribe now, and I'll make sure you get the complete roadmap to stress-free achievement that I'm sharing in my next series. Let's get practical. Here's how to apply this in the most stressful areas of life. Career stress. Instead of, I should be promoted within 2 years, or I'm a failure. Try, I'd love to advance in my career. I'll do excellent work, seek feedback, and stay open to opportunities while accepting that timing isn't entirely under my control. Relationship stress. Instead of, my partner should know what I need without me having to ask. Try, I'd prefer my partner to anticipate my needs, and I'll communicate clearly about what I want while accepting that mind reading isn't a realistic expectation. Parenting stress. Instead of, my children should behave perfectly and reflect well on my parenting. Try, I want to raise good humans. I'll do my best to guide them while accepting that they're individuals who will make their own choices. Health and body stress. Instead of, I should lose 20 pounds by summer and never eat unhealthy food again. Try, I'd like to be healthier. I'll make good choices consistently while accepting that progress isn't always linear. Here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, become an expectation detective. Every time you feel stressed, frustrated, or anxious, ask yourself, what am I expecting that isn't happening right now? Write it down. Question it. Release your attachment to it. Redirect your energy toward what you can actually control in this moment. I guarantee that if you do this consistently for 30 days, you'll experience a level of peace and clarity you may not have felt since childhood. And here's the thing. I want to support you through this journey. If you subscribe and turn on notifications, I'll be sharing weekly check-ins, troubleshooting common challenges, and advanced techniques to accelerate your progress. Don't try to do this alone when you could have an entire community supporting you. Here's something profound to consider. Humans are the only species that suffer over imaginary futures. A deer doesn't stress about whether it will find food next week. A bird doesn't worry about building the perfect nest. They respond to actual present moment circumstances, not anticipated problems or unmet expectations. We've created elaborate mental worlds full of shoulds, musts, and supposed tos, and then we wonder why we're stressed. We're living in imaginary prisons of our own making. The key to freedom isn't changing your circumstances. It's recognizing that most of your stress comes from comparing reality to your mental movies about how things should be. Let me tell you about Marcus, a CEO who came to me on the verge of a breakdown. He was working 80-hour weeks, his marriage was struggling, he rarely saw his kids, and despite tremendous business success, he felt like a failure. I should be able to handle all of this, he told me. Successful people don't struggle like this. We identified 23 different expectations he was carrying about his performance as a CEO, husband, and father. Each expectation was like a separate program running in the background of his mind, constantly evaluating his reality and finding it lacking. After learning to release these expectations and replace them with preferences and present moment focus, Marcus made a shocking discovery. He became more effective, not less. His business grew 40% the following year, his marriage improved dramatically, and he started leaving the office by 6 p.m. to have dinner with his family. I thought letting go of expectations would make me lazy, he told me. Instead, it made me free to do my best work without the constant anxiety about whether it was good enough. If Marcus's transformation resonates with you, make sure you're subscribed because next week I'm sharing the exact step-by-step process he used, including the specific questions that broke through his biggest mental barriers. Here's the philosophical shift that underlies all stress reduction. You can want something without demanding it. You can work toward goals without being attached to specific outcomes. You can have preferences without making them requirements for your happiness. This isn't resignation or lowering your standards. It's the difference between being motivated by inspiration versus being driven by desperation. When you release toxic expectations, you don't become apathetic. You become authentic. You don't lower your standards. You align them with reality. You don't give up on growth. You pursue it from a place of joy rather than judgment. I want to leave you with this challenge. What if, for just one day, you experimented with having zero expectations? Not zero goals or standards, but zero demands that reality match your mental picture of how things should unfold. What if you woke up tomorrow and instead of thinking about everything you should accomplish, you simply asked, what would bring me joy today? How can I serve others? What can I learn? How can I grow? What if you approached your work, relationships, and personal goals from a place of curiosity and appreciation rather than judgment and demand? I believe you'd discover something revolutionary. Life is actually quite beautiful when you're not constantly comparing it to your mental movie about how it should be. Try this experiment and let me know how it goes in the comments below. And if you're ready to dive deeper into this life-changing approach, subscribe now because I'm creating an entire series on practical expectation release techniques that you won't find anywhere else. Here's the ultimate truth nobody tells you. Your stress isn't coming from your circumstances. It's coming from your resistance to your circumstances. It's coming from the gap between what is and what you think should be. When you close that gap, not by changing reality, but by releasing unrealistic demands, you discover a level of peace that no external achievement can provide. You realize that you already have everything you need to be content right now, in this moment, with this life, exactly as it is. That doesn't mean you stop growing or striving. It means you do so from a place of joy rather than judgment, inspiration rather than desperation, love rather than fear. The moment you truly understand that 80% of your stress comes from expectations rather than circumstances, everything changes. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the author of your experience. You realize that peace isn't something you achieve when everything goes right. Peace is something you can choose right now, regardless of what's happening around you. The question isn't whether you can eliminate stress from your life. The question is, are you ready to let go of the thoughts that create it? Your journey to genuine peace begins the moment you stop demanding that life look different than it does and start appreciating the beautiful, imperfect, perfectly unpredictable adventure that it actually is. Remember, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control your expectations about what should happen to you. And that control is all you need to transform your stress into serenity, your anxiety into acceptance, and your struggle into peace. The truth nobody tells you is this simple and this revolutionary. Most of your stress is optional. Once you see this, you can't unsee it. And once you can't unsee it, you're free. If this video has opened your eyes to a new way of living, please subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Together, we can help more people discover the peace that's been waiting for them all along. I'll see you in the next video, where we're going deeper into the practical tools that make this transformation possible.